have over 60 people tonight, so thank you very much. I want to especially thank our patrons and sponsors for this evening. It's folks like you that make this opportunity for us. So please give a warm applause to 43 North, please. So our guest speaker tonight is the chair of the Democratic Party. So I'd like to please give a warm welcome to Alison Jones, please.
Thank you very much. I'm chair of the Pima County Democratic Party, just to be clear. And I have a few notes, so if you don't mind, I'm going to stand at this podium. Is this all right? Yeah. I had some things I didn't want to forget to say, so I made some notes. Thank you, first of all, for having me here this evening on this very important Labor Day weekend. I am honored to be here. As holidays go, this one has taken on more and more importance for me. Maybe it's because I'm a salaried worker myself. Maybe it's because I'm married to one of the hardest working men I've ever met, who started doing manual labor and landscaping and knows what it means to do an honest day's work. Anyway, this event has given me a wonderful opportunity to reflect on work and fairness, organized labor, solidarity, and the never-ending conflict between workers and employees. Recall, if you will, workers and their employers, sorry. So recall, if you will, your first job. My first job was making my bed every day and taking out the trash once a week. And for this, I received 15 cents every Saturday. 1 nickel and 1 dime. The amount was not important, but how it made me feel was important. I had a job, success or failure depended on me. I felt great going to the store and buying candy which my mother had forbidden me to have. It gave me independence. It made me my own person, and it empowered me, and I was proud. I felt important, and I'm really glad that my parents understood this was a lesson I needed to learn. Grover Cleveland said, "A truly American sentiment recognizes the dignity of labor and the fact that honor lies in honest toil." So my first job taught me this. I felt the dignity and honor of doing work, but money wasn't an issue. My parents provided me with everything, and 15 cents wouldn't have given me a lot. So I still had a lot to learn about the money part of the work and earning a living equation. Americans typically look at labor like this: work hard and you'll earn money, respect, and dignity. Or don't work and you will be dependent, poor, and weak. But there is a third category, and it is one that is very common these days. Work hard and be dependent, poor, and weak. Americans who work full-time jobs and can't afford the rent. Americans who work full-time and still need to depend on safety net programs, or who have to do without prescription drugs and health care. These are the people I'm talking about. They're doing the work. They're keeping up their end of the bargain. And yet they still can't make it in this country. They are not earning a living wage. And not only are they not making a living, but they're receiving this message that what they are doing is not of value. And eventually this translates into a feeling that they are not of value. And ultimately, this is how people plunge into despair. This is how we end up with generation after generation of stuck in poverty. And this is how we crush people's souls. Now, I hate to sound like a conspiracy theorist. This is a very dark thought. But I wonder if crushing people's souls is really the point. I wonder if there are those people out there who think that we can keep people in the ranks of the working poor, squeeze some productivity out of them, while still keeping them too tired, too sick, and too fearful to demand more. Is this the motivation behind right-to-work laws? I think it is. And if I'm right, then we have everything to gain by supporting organized labor. The big businesses and corporations who support right-to-work laws say that these laws are enacted to protect workers from being forced into the union. Not true. Federal law already makes it illegal to force someone into a union. For decades, these major corporations have spent time and money to tip the power toward themselves on the backs of working families. Laws like the right-to-work law in Arizona make it harder to form unions and to collectively bargain for better benefits, wages, and working conditions, and we are all poorer for it. These laws are not the idea of a single legislator. Across the country, right-to-work bills are handed down from corporations and their advocates such as ALEC, the American Legislative Exchange Council. ALEC works to give corporations, quote, a voice and a vote. Corporations, a voice and a vote. Many of Arizona's Republican legislators are ALEC members and just attended their conference earlier this month. Remember this, organized labor lifts up everyone, whether they are in a union or not. Bureau of Labor Statistics data support this, and we know there is a direct correlation between right-to-work laws and poverty. So my message is simple. If you are in a union, keep doing what you're doing. If you are not in a union, but there's one you can join, do it. And if you are not union and there are no union options for you, thank a union worker for making your life better. I'd like to share a story with you about labor at its best. Organized labor has been a huge supporter of the Democratic Party, and I'm a big fan of theirs. This story illustrates why. The Pima County Democratic Party executive director is a wonderful woman named Kat Ripley. And on Friday morning, Kat and I drove to Phoenix for the big Arizona AFL-CIO breakfast. We were mingling with people who were officials of the party. A few congressmen, future Senator Mark Kelly was there, and just about every Democrat in the state legislature, including Charlene Fernandez, who is the House Minority Leader. All in all, it was a pretty staid crowd. And then these double doors opened at the end of the room, and in walked the steel workers and the pipe fitters. Now, these are union brothers who, if they owned suits, couldn't be bothered to wear a suit that day because they were going to work as soon as this thing ended. They were wearing t-shirts and jeans and work boots and ball caps, and they didn't just walk in, they swaggered in. They knew exactly who their state representatives were, and they went for them. And they didn't mind telling them what they thought about their recent votes. They're not shy about it. These guys, all blue-collar workers, they're good at what they do, they know it, and they know what their work is worth. Kat and I just stood back in amazement and watched them work the room. And Kat leaned over to me and she said, "I want to be a pipe fitter." What we were watching, plain and simple, was the power of organized labor. Solidarity. They were not asking for any more than what they deserve for an honest day's work. They love their work. They want to do their work. And they know they can only do that work if they bargained fairly. Pima County Democratic Party knows this, and that is why we awarded Pima Area Labor Federation the Spirit of Arizona Award this year. So as we celebrate labor, families, fairness, and the dignity and honor of work, remember what Abraham Lincoln said. Labor is prior to and independent of capital. Capital is only the fruit of labor and could never exist if labor did not first exist. Labor is the superior of capital and deserves much the higher consideration. Thank you all. Happy Labor Day. Thank a union brother or sister, and I'm so grateful to have been here today.